Chosen ones, you've mastered silence, endured rejection, walked in divine power. So why does lust still whisper when no one's looking? Have you ever asked yourself, why, despite all my spiritual growth, do I still battle with secret cravings that don't align with my purpose? A young man, let's call him Elijah, was anointed early. Dreams, visions, spiritual insight beyond his years. He fasted, prayed, interceded for others, but at night when the world got quiet, his mind wasn't. Lust crept in like a silent visitor, persistent and cunning. He'd repent, cry, rise, only to wrestle again. He didn't understand how someone so called could still feel so conflicted. He thought he was broken, but what he didn't realize, chosen ones, was that this battle wasn't a sign of failure. It was confirmation that he carried something holy, and lust knew it. Chosen ones, lust ain't chasing you because you're weak. It's coming after you because you're anointed, and the enemy knows that if he can trap your purity, he can delay your power. So why do we, the called, the peculiar, the spiritually gifted, struggle with something that seems so carnal, so contradictory? That's what we're unpacking today, and trust me, you'll never look at this battle the same way again. As Paul once said in Romans 7:15, I do not understand what I do, for what I want to do I do not do, but what I hate I do. Chosen ones, this is not a message of shame, it's a message of awakening. You're not alone, and more importantly, you're not powerless. Stay with me till the end, because I promise you, we're not just going to expose the struggle, we're going to overcome it together. Let's dive into the 5 reasons why chosen ones secretly struggle with lust. Number 1, the enemy targets your purpose through pleasure. You're not just tempted, you're targeted. Lust and the chosen one's mission. You're not crazy, Earth Angel, you're chosen. And when you're chosen, the battle isn't fair. It's spiritual warfare dressed up in everyday clothes. You see, the moment you said yes to your divine mission, even if it was in silence, even if it was just a whisper in your heart, the kingdom of darkness said, let's see about that. You became a marked one, not for destruction, but for distraction. And one of the enemy's favorite distractions? Lust. Now let's be clear, lust isn't just about bodies and bedroom eyes, it's about energy, seduction. It's about pulling you from your spiritual post and placing you in a fog so thick you forget you were ever called. Lust shows up looking like an opportunity, but it's really an obstacle in disguise. It knows your weaknesses because the enemy has done his homework. He knows if he can't curse you, he'll just try to corrupt you. Not with obvious sin, but with subtle sabotage. This isn't about prudishness or shame. This is about purpose. See, your anointing has weight. Your presence has power. You've probably noticed it already, how people stare when you walk in, how strangers feel comfortable confessing their secrets to you, how you're often misunderstood or envied. That's not random. That's spiritual frequency. You're tuned to a higher station, and not everyone can handle that signal, but guess who can detect it? The enemy. Lust is a trap disguised as a treat. It's not just sex, it's soul entanglement, emotional dependency, situationships that drain your spirit but stroke your ego. And that's why it's so effective. The enemy uses lust because it offers a counterfeit version of what your soul longs for: intimacy, love, attention. But instead of fulfilling, it fragments, it chips away at your discernment, making you feel temporarily alive while killing your clarity. According to psychology, the brain releases a rush of dopamine during sexual encounters, especially in moments tied to secrecy, risk, or fantasy. The problem is, dopamine is addictive. You can get hooked not just on the person, but on the feeling, the rush, the validation. Spiritually speaking, this means you're bonding to people, patterns, and portals that drain your purpose. And here's the real kicker. The enemy only uses lust heavily against those who carry heavy assignments. If you weren't dangerous to darkness, you wouldn't be this heavily targeted, but you are. That's why it feels like every time you level up spiritually, here comes a new entanglement wrapped in fine print and flawless edges. Don't get it twisted. God created desire. It's holy when it's in alignment. He's not asking you to suppress your humanity. He's asking you to steward it, to not let desire dictate your decisions. Because one moment of compromise can cost you years of progress. And you, Earth Angel, don't have time to waste. You're not just cute, you're carrying keys to legacy, healing, influence, and kingdom impact. So what do you do when lust shows up? You don't fight with willpower alone, you fight with word, you get accountable, you stay prayed up. You remind yourself, I'm not just protecting my body, I'm protecting my oil. That oil flows from purity, not perfection, but persistence. Every time you say no to what distracts you, you're saying yes to what defines you. And if you've slipped, don't run from God, run to Him. He's not out to punish you, He wants to polish you. He knows the enemy set you up, but He also set you apart. And nothing is too broken for God to restore, not even you. So walk boldly, Earth Angel. You're not weak. You're just under attack because you're powerful. Lust comes for the anointed. But you're wiser now. You're sharper, and you're ready. Guard your heart, guard your mind, guard your oil. You're not just tempted, you're targeted, because heaven placed a calling on your life that hell can't cancel. So don't fall for the bait. Don't trade your divine mission for a temporary moment. Stay pure, stay sharp, and stay rising. Number 2, you were designed to love deeply, but that depth gets twisted. Here's the paradox: chosen ones. Chosen ones are lovers by design, not by accident, and I don't mean that sugar-sweet rom-com kind of love. No, yours is a deeper, divine kind of love. Soul love. You don't just fall for someone's smile, you fall into their spirit. You see through people, not just at them. You're the kind of person who walks into a room and makes people feel seen, safe, and significant just by existing. You heal with presence, not pressure. You listen not just to respond, but to resurrect broken parts of others. But here's where things get slippery. That sacred depth you carry, that pure yearning for soul-to-soul connection, it can attract both angels and shadows. Lust knows how to mimic intimacy. And it's sneaky, it doesn't show up with horns and red flags. It shows up disguised as comfort, as chemistry, as just holding space. One moment you're offering someone a shoulder to cry on, and the next you're caught in an emotional undertow, wondering when it stopped being ministry and started feeling like magnetism. Let's break this down with truth. Lust and love both burn, but their fires have different origins. Love builds, it nourishes, expands, and honors your spirit. Lust, it consumes. It's about now, not forever. It tricks your soul by tapping into your divine longing for connection, but delivering a counterfeit experience. Studies in psychology even suggest that intense physical or emotional attraction can trigger dopamine and oxytocin releases in the brain, mimicking deep emotional bonds. But those bonds, formed too fast and without spiritual discernment, often lead to confusion and heartbreak. You're not weak for craving connection. You're not broken because you love deeply. You're designed that way. Chosen ones reflect God's nature, and guess what? God is love. But God is also order, truth, and discernment. That's where we have to grow. When you give divine love to people who only want physical affection, you end up draining your spirit and blurring your calling. Here's the wisdom. Love without discernment becomes a liability. It becomes a highway for lust to drive right into your soul, making you question your worth, your intentions, and even your identity. That's why your heart has to be a vault, not locked off from love, but protected by wisdom. Everyone doesn't deserve access to your sacred self. That's not arrogance, that's spiritual hygiene. Lust feeds on your hunger for connection. It hijacks your divine design and reroutes it towards destruction. So how do you fight it? By going to the source. By letting God meet that need for deep connection. Because only God can love you without agenda, without flesh, and without limits. And when you're full of that kind of love, the counterfeits won't even tempt you. So don't shut down your heart, just guard it. Don't stop loving, just channel it. Remember, love isn't the problem. Misplaced love is. Number 3, isolation magnifies temptation. Chosen ones, let's get real about the battle in solitude. Chosen ones, can we have an unfiltered moment of truth? Your path, your divine calling, isn't one that comes with cheerleaders and a crowd hyping you up. It's a quiet, often lonely journey. You're different by design, set apart. You don't move with the masses, and you've likely never quite fit in. And while that separation gives you spiritual clarity, insight, and discernment, it also becomes a testing ground for something few talk about: lust. Let's be honest, when the world is quiet and the lights are off, the enemy gets loud. No more applause, no more expectations. The facade falls away. You're not out to impress anyone. You're not trying to perform. You're just you. And in that raw, tired, vulnerable place, temptation knocks. It doesn't storm in all at once. It whispers, just one time. Nobody will know. You deserve to feel something. The enemy doesn't tempt you with full-blown destruction. He starts with suggestions. Science backs this up. Dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical, spikes with anticipation, not even the act itself. In solitude, when there's nothing else to stimulate or distract, the brain can quickly latch onto fantasy as a form of self-soothing. That's why lust doesn't just attack your body, it hijacks your mind. Temptation thrives in silence, in imagination, in those quiet, unguarded moments when no one is watching and your soul is searching for comfort. But here's the flip side, the powerful truth most never consider. Solitude doesn't have to be a snare, it can be a sanctuary. Yes, the same space the enemy wants to pollute can become the holy ground God uses to purify you. What if instead of hiding, you allowed that quiet room to become a sacred space, a place not of shame but surrender? Instead of spiraling into lust, you worship. Instead of feeding the flesh, you journal your prayers. Instead of escaping through fantasy, you cry out to the one who sees all, knows all, and still loves you deeply. Don't mistake your struggle for sinfulness. You're not evil, weak, or broken. You're human and chosen. And many of your battles exist because you're chosen. The enemy knows he can't derail your calling, so he tries to corrupt your character. But here's the truth. God does his best work in hidden places. When you're stripped of every crutch, every distraction, every witness, that's when you encounter him for real. Isolation isn't punishment, it's preparation, it's intimacy training. Think of biblical figures like Moses, Elijah, or even Jesus. Each spent time in the wilderness alone, battling temptation and emerging stronger in purpose. You're in good company. The question is, what will you do with your wilderness? So the next time you feel that pull, when imagination starts drifting toward indulgence, pause, invite God into the room. He's not embarrassed by your urges. He's not ashamed of your desires. He wants to redeem them. You're not wrestling alone, chosen one. That quiet space, it was never empty. It's where heaven leans in closest. Number 4, you're spiritually open, so you're more spiritually attacked. People often think that being spiritually gifted means you float through life on a cloud of blessings, butterflies, and prophetic dreams wrapped in gold light. But let's keep it real. That's cap. If you're truly spiritually gifted, you already know the truth. Your heightened sensitivity doesn't just make you receptive to divine whispers, it makes you a target in spiritual warfare. You don't just see more, feel more, and hear more, you discern more. And that kind of spiritual clarity comes with responsibility, pressure, and yes, warfare. Let's talk about lust, because it's one of the most misunderstood tactics in the enemy's arsenal. Lust is not just about physical temptation. It's not just about desire for someone's body or the momentary thrill of attraction. Lust is a spirit, a spiritual parasite. It hides behind hormones and emotions, but it's strategic and calculated. And guess what? The enemy isn't out here throwing darts randomly. He studies your energetic field like a seasoned predator. He knows when your guard is down. He knows when you're exhausted, stressed, hungry, lonely, or mourning. That's not just bad timing, that's a spiritual setup. Why does it hit so hard when you're vulnerable? Because you're a gateway. You're not just a person, you're a vessel, a carrier of divine light. And any vessel that's open can be filled with something, light or darkness. This is why you pick up on moods before people speak, why you feel tension in the room before anything happens, why certain dreams leave you breathless at 3 a.m. It's not paranoia, it's discernment. It's not random urges or flashbacks, it's spiritual interference. And the devil doesn't play fair. He sends thoughts, temptations, images, and triggers that make you question your worth, your purity, your strength. It might feel like you're battling your own desires, but what you're really fighting is an ancient, well-practiced spirit that's come for your peace, your clarity, and your calling. But here's the truth. Being spiritually gifted is not a curse. It's a calling, and yes, openness is a blessing, but it must be guarded. You can't afford to be casual about your spiritual hygiene. Fast, pray, clean house, spiritually and emotionally. Speak out loud, bind it, rebuke it, starve it. Lust feeds on secrecy, shame, and silence. So starve it by shining the light on it. This isn't about willpower, it's about warfare. Spiritual battles require spiritual weapons. That means going beyond self-help books and motivational quotes. You need scripture, prayer, worship, and yes, deliverance. Don't treat a spirit like a bad habit. Bad habits fade, spirits fight back. So chosen ones, rise up, guard your gift, protect your light. The enemy knows what you carry, and that's why he attacks. But remember, you've already been given authority. You're not powerless, you're not fragile. You are dangerous to darkness. And when you start fighting in the spirit, heaven fights with you. Number 5, Lust tries to counterfeit what God is preparing. Here's the truth bomb, chosen ones. Lust doesn't just knock at your door casually. It storms in like a seductive storm right before destiny breaks open. Have you ever noticed how the pull gets stronger just when you've been praying harder, fasting deeper, walking straighter? That's not a coincidence. That's spiritual warfare in disguise. Lust is a counterfeit. It's the enemy's version of a divine preview, like a bootleg copy of a masterpiece. It gives you the illusion of connection, the high of chemistry, the thrill of desire, but none of the lasting fulfillment. It leaves you empty after the thrill fades, like waking up after a sugar rush only to feel sick and tired. Why does it show up right before breakthrough? Because the enemy knows you're inches away from divine connection, holy alignment, and your kingdom spouse, the one God has prepared just for you. You're about to step into purpose, partnership, and power, and lust. It's sent to derail you. Science backs this up too. Studies show that our brains release high levels of dopamine during moments of sexual desire, especially when it's tied to novelty or risk. But here's the kicker. Those same pathways are also activated by false rewards, things that feel good temporarily but offer no lasting benefit. The enemy leverages this very mechanism. Lust makes a cheap offer, hoping you'll sell off your spiritual inheritance. But chosen one, you're not for sale. You'll notice when this spirit shows up, it doesn't arrive looking demonic. It comes wrapped in everything you thought you wanted. Six-pack abs, sultry eyes, smooth talk, and a vibe that seems just spiritual enough to fool you. But that's the trap. The enemy isn't stupid. He studies you. He knows what your type is, what wounds you carry, and what temptations make you double take. So he crafts a distraction that feels like the promise. But deep down, you know it's not. It's just one more night turned spiritual detour. It's I'm lonely turned soul tie. It's a trade, your legacy for their lust. But here's what makes you powerful. You see it for what it is. Lust isn't just a temptation, it's a signal. It's a warning flare that something holy is on the horizon. You're on the brink of birthing something divine. And anything sacred, anything holy will always be attacked before it's delivered. Ask any mother, labor pains come right before delivery, so don't fall for the decoy. Your kingdom spouse is real. Your purpose is unfolding. Your legacy is about to make waves through generations. Stay focused, not frustrated. Stay pure, not pressured. Because what you're protecting isn't just your body, it's a blessing. It's a spiritual inheritance wrapped in obedience, sealed in grace, and appointed for such a time as this. Chosen one, when lust knocks, let it be your cue. Breakthrough is near. Chosen ones, if you're battling lust in silence, I want you to know this. You are not alone, you are not dirty, and you are not disqualified. Lust doesn't win because it visited. It only wins if you let it stay. God sees your tears. He hears your prayers. And He's not ashamed of your struggle. He's proud of your fight. Keep fighting, keep rising, keep choosing holiness, because what's coming after the battle will be worth every denied urge, every deleted message, every fast, every tear. Lust is loud, but purpose is louder. Chosen ones, stay awake on your spiritual journey. Heaven is backing you, earth is watching you, and your future is waiting for you. I'll see you in the next video. Stay pure, stay powerful, stay chosen.